Look real happy.
Huh?
I said you look real happy.
Oh, are we on?
We are on. We are live. It is 9 p.m. Excuse me. And this is our virtual group. It's Living a Life-Giving Life. Been a lot of fun. We had, I think, 50 views last week. So that was pretty cool. People signed in and watched it. That's really exciting. I enjoyed last week. Did you?
I did.
You did? Best fighting the cold right now. So welcome to our kitchen with it's not contagious. That's the good thing about a virtual small group is you're not going to get sick from that.
Not from that. If you get sick, you've been with me at Urban Ministries or something.
Got to talk up probably a little bit louder.
You don't think they can hear me?
All right. So anyway, we're on life-giving relationships tonight. We're going to talk about relationships, how to have life-giving relationships.
We're going to talk tonight about making a difference in your relationship. And I think that we all have experience like discontentment in our relationships and one way or the other, or in our life one way or the other. So that's what tonight is about. And, you know, I just want you to ask yourself, do you think more about others or do you think more about yourself? And I think that's probably a good question to start with. And I think most of us, if we really answer that honestly, it would be we think about ourselves.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think kind of the question I wanted to pose tonight is, have you ever been in one of those relationships where you seem like the other person was just a take?
Oh, wow, that's in my notes.
Oh, is it? Yeah. It just seems like somebody was a taker, you know, and you were the only one that ever did anything, that ever initiated any phone calls or any hang times, whatever. You're the only one that reminded them that it was their birthday or stuff like that. And what I want to start off by saying is that that's not necessarily the end of the world if you've been in a relationship or you're in a relationship now that, that is a take. Mm-hmm. The other person is take. It's not, I don't think you're going to hear us say tonight that you should end those relationships ASAP.
Right. Now, when you're choosing your friends, if you feel like that you're in a relationship that is very one-sided, then that may be somebody that you that probably would not be your best friend, because I think that just grows resentment and unexpected or unmet expectations rather in those relationships. We don't mean to cut them off and say, well, forget you, I'm not ever going to talk to you again, but just kind of consider what it is. And if you're the one giving everything, then that's probably not going to be your best friend. And that may be something that you need to quit looking for, is for that person to be.
Well, don't expect them to be very intimate or intimately involved with you relationally with your life and your life decisions. And kind of an example by that is, so maybe they're just not very full of life, full of energy, and very excited about things happening in your life. And then you have something really, really cool happening in your life, and they're just like, oh, really? You know, like, yeah, I'm having a kid. We're pregnant. We're going to have a baby. And they're just like, oh.
Yeah, you know,
I have three.
Well, I have someone in my life that sometimes I'll call this person with like exciting news. And, you know, I may be excited about it. And then they'll just start telling me what's going on in their life, like not really celebrating, with me and what I have going on. So.
Yeah, so tonight's going to be fun. Excuse me. Ooh, I'm obviously tired, but it's just after 9 on Wednesday night. I want to kind of start off the night with just a thought about relationships, kind of, sort of, but then again, maybe something that'll help you laugh. I had lunch yesterday with a really good friend that I'm getting to know more and more. And he and I had this really long conversation that was very meaningful. It was about we had a lot of talk about relationships and damage that's been done in a relationship. But he shared this with me, and I want to share this with you, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. He was telling me he works down off of Irwin Road, down close to downtown. And he's always around a lot of really smart people, Duke students, doctors, that kind of thing, research people. And he was telling me that one of the scientists there was telling him that they had learned to make people. And he was like, well, that's pretty funny. And he actually told him a story. He said, man, I had an opportunity to meet God face to face, and God was like, hey, you know, scientist Bob, or whatever your name was. What's the guy's name? Bill Nye, the science guy. Maybe that was his name, just for sake of protection. And God's like, hey, Bill, how are you? And he's like, I'm good. And he's like, God, guess what? We don't really need you anymore, because down on earth, we've learned how to make people. And God was like, oh, really? You guys have learned how to make people? And he's like, yep, we sure have. And he says, well, if you want to make people and you want to not need me, then I want to see you make people from dirt, because that's how I made people. I made people from dirt. And the science guy was like, no problem. And he reaches down and he grabs him a handful of dirt, and God reaches his hand over it and he said, nuh-uh, get your own dirt. So I thought it was kind of funny, but when you think about it, we were made from dirt. We were created from dirt, and none of us are the same. We all have different personalities. We all have very different personalities. So tonight we're going to talk about how to make a difference in your relationships. And I don't think you're going to hear us say end your relationships. We're not going to have you breaking up with anybody tonight, severing ties with anybody. So make a difference. Tonight you're going to learn how to make a difference in your relationships.
Not only should we do other things for other people, we actually need to do things for other people. We all have a desire to be needed, and God designed us like this. In 2 Corinthians 5:15, Paul writes this, and he died for all, those who live should no longer live for themselves, but for him who died for them and was raised again. So you see, I'm not just making this up. We all need relationships. We need to do things for other people, and the truth be told, we need others to do things for us.
Yeah.
And I find it interesting that Jesus, he did not waste his time. So we can assume that everything that he did it for a purpose or for a reason, that there was, lessons to be learned.
Yeah.
I think that Jeff and I were discussing earlier about when Jesus washed the disciples' feet. And do you remember us talking about this?
Yeah.
And Peter told Jesus, you're not washing my feet, basically.
That's
He
right.
said, you're not going to wash my feet. And Jesus looked at him and said, well, if I can't wash your feet, then we can't be friends. I'm not going to read through the scripture. I wrote it down, but it's pretty long. It's several verses. You can go read in John 13 for yourself. But basically, that's what happened. Jesus said, Peter, give me your feet. I'm going to wash them. And Peter said, you're not washing my feet, because, it's Jesus. He thought, you're too holy to be washing my feet. And and he basically said, if you're not going to allow me to do this for you, then.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the first thing that we should talk about tonight is maybe you're watching this or you're sitting beside me, and it's hard for you to let people do things for you. It's hard to let people be your friend. And I think Jesus made a very clear point that he wanted to serve Peter. It's kind of an exclamation mark on what Jesus said. It's actually referenced in the gospel. Jesus isn't actually recorded saying it. It's just referenced in the gospel that says Jesus didn't come to be served. However, he came to serve. And
right.
I think that's one of the first things you can take away from right now. I don't know what's going on in your life, and there's things that are hard for me to let go of and to let others do for me. And sometimes the really hard truth and the reality is those people that want to do those things for me can not only do them for me, a lot of times they can do them better than I can even do them for myself. So I think the first thing to take away is, man, let some people serve you. Don't be afraid to let somebody be your friend. Sometimes we wonder why our friendships aren't as good as they could be. It could be because we're preventing or not allowing somebody to be as really close as they really would want to be to us, right? Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yep, I would. So in other words, we need to do things. We need to be doing things for others, but we also, it's just as important to let others do things for us. I remember like several months ago, we met a Hispanic family, and they started helping us do things like when we needed stuff moved from the office downstairs to the office upstairs. He helped us. I think he helped Jeff with some painting and different things. And then I was getting ready for a birthday party or something. I can't remember what it was. And I realized, okay, I need some help cleaning my house. And I remember how difficult that was to allow someone else to come in and clean my house. I mean, just simple things. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying go clean somebody's house or tell your best friend that you need them to come clean your house or anything like that. But to just allow people to do things for you.
And now Iden or Almer, if you want to call it, and Julia, however you like to say it, they watch our videos online. And they have a cousin up in Washington, D.C. that will also interpret them. So he watches them too. And it's a neat thing when you let both sides kind of do some things. If you're currently watching this at 9 o'clock, I just want to pause for a quick moment. If you're around 9:15 live with us right now tonight, and you've got a question about a specific relationship, man, I challenge you to write it on here. We'll do our best to answer it. I forgot to share that earlier.
Yeah.
But I need coffee.
Yes, you do.
I do need some coffee. Well, it's 9:15 and I'm tired. I go to bed at 10. It's kind of what I do.
No, you don't.
I do. I get into bed at 10. That's why I do. Add value to your relationships. How to get the most out of your relationships.
He does not go to bed at 10 o'clock.
A
lot of times it's midnight.
Yeah, it could be. Get you on dirt.
So I had wrote down some ways that that you can make a difference in your relationship.
Oh, man.
So here are just some very simple and.
This will be a good time to pause this if you're watching this recorded and get a pen and write it down.
Pray for one another. I think that relationships that make a difference are relationships that you pray for one another. Pray for your friends. Pray for all of your relationships.
I think it would be good to even ask a friend this week, tonight, maybe tonight before you go to bed. You would ask a friend, text message, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, and you would say, "Hey, how can I pray for you? What do you believe in God for? What are you struggling with? What's something in your life that you're pursuing?"
Or even send a friend a prayer request that you may have.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And ask them to pray for you. Yeah, that's really good.
This one sounds simple, but it's not as easy as what, especially in like long-term relationships that you've been friends with somebody forever. But be friendly. I've been in relationships with people before that they just were not friendly.
Yeah.
But be friendly.
I'm actually working on a message that I plan to deliver in the summertime this year, and it's kind of centered around one question, and here's the question: is that I would invite our people to ask themselves this one question: what's it like on the other side of me? What is it like on the other side of me? Because I think a lot of times that we wonder why nobody's friendly. And the answer is probably because we're not very friendly, especially in those environments. I can tell you that just to be completely honest with you, there's some people that I just don't, I'm not comfortable around. They're not my favorite friends. I don't do well with critics. I don't do well with real critical people. I don't do well with negative people, naysayers. The glass is half full. Half empty. Yeah, I can't do that. Like, I can't deal with, like, if you're going to give me 9 reasons why it sucked, I'm just I'm going to give you 9 seconds of why I'm not going to hang out, because I want to be around productive. I'm a productivity kind of guy. I want to be around positive people. But what I'm saying is, in my life, I have to be around people sometimes that aren't my favorite kind of people to be around. And I've found myself being less friendly in those environments. And I've even asked, I wonder if I'd be more friendly or over friendly. And what's really funny is I got a good friend that was telling me recently that she was in an environment where people just didn't seem very friendly. And I was like, well, it's going to be okay. They like you. They love you. They care about you. And her, I've been told through another source that her counter to the less friendly people is she's just going to make it a point to hug them, give them high fives, smile at them, and be over friendly to them, to see if she can kind of be the antidote to the less than life-giving relationships.
Yeah. Be patient. This is something that I struggle with. I told Jeff I came in from Trader Joe's last night, and the lady gave me a free box of coffee because I had to wait on my coffee. And she said, I'm going to give you this box for free since you were so patient. And I said, I think that's the first time that anybody has ever told me that I was patient. I'm not a very patient person. But give the benefit of the doubt.
I love this one.
I know you do.
I like this one. I do this with almost all of my relationships. Let me talk about the marriage for a moment. If your husband or wife comes home late from work, or something like that happens, instead of assuming that they've been out just glory riding and having a whole bunch of fun without you, give the benefit of the doubt that maybe they need to work late to accomplish something, to finish something, or
they were stuck in traffic.
And if a friend literally forgets to call you on your birthday or ask you about how that special date or that interview went or whatever, if they forget, give the benefit of the doubt. Don't jump. This is called self-talk. And it's what we say to ourselves about the person.
Right.
And honestly, it took therapy for me to even realize what self-talk was. But self-talk is you can create this horrible environment and this horrible feeling, anxiety, depression, frustration, anger, major mood disorder, because you think that it's something really, really bad when it's not. Give the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they're late getting in touch with you because they were doing something special for you, or maybe they had a problem.
Right.
So
that's the biggest.
I love the benefit of the doubt. I always do that. If somebody's late to a meeting with me, I don't ever assume that they think their time is more valuable than my time. I always assume that something's happened and it's caused them not to be there, and they're not mad at me. They're not upset with me. They don't dread coming to see me. I give them the benefit of the doubt.
And look, if they just forgot your birthday, be quick to forgive. So that is the next one. Is forgive people. Be a forgiving person. Do you have anything to elaborate?
I think on forgiving, it's like there's not really a whole lot of. I mean, the only advice I would give you on forgiveness is the quicker you forgive, the better off you're going to be.
Right. The less damaging the relationship is.
The sooner you get to the forgiveness part, the better. And I think it's very important that we fail in this area a lot, especially in the church. We teach people to come to the altar, to forgive, and to move on. But sometimes it's very important, and this is a twofold reason. One, to let the person know that you've forgiven them.
Yeah.
All right. And the main reason for that is that you can have the freedom. But then the other reason to let somebody know that you've forgiven them is if you forgive somebody for being late to a meeting that you called, and maybe this is in a work center I'm just speaking of, and you tell them, hey, I forgive you. They may have never known that was that big of a deal to you. And that's really setting clear expectations in relationships. And I think that the sooner you can forgive, the better, and even let them know that you've forgiven them and that you're over it. And I think that you're not even really able to say that to somebody unless you're really over it.
My mom had a really good friend, like when I was like first born. So it's been many, many, many years ago. But one of them said something to the other one. My mom's not even really sure what was said, but I mean, these were like best friends, and because of one little comment made and the other person not being able to forgive them, I mean, their relationship was severed because of that, and they never spoke again. So yeah, forgive quickly. The next thing is comfort. You need, when your friend is going through something, don't automatically assume that they're going to get over it quickly, or that it's not that big of a deal, because something that may not be a big deal to you or me, may be a big deal to that person. So be sensitive and make sure that you're comforting your friends when they're going through.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's huge, is that we be comforting in our friends.
The next thing, be faithful. Be faithful to our friends.
Do what you say you're going to do.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're going to call somebody tomorrow, call somebody tomorrow. And if you don't, apologize. Be faithful.
I think that's the biggest thing. Do what you say you're going to do.
Do what you say you're going to do. Be where you say you're going to be. Don't lie. Don't lie to your friends. Even if you get mixed up and there's a wedding shower here and a wedding shower here, and you can only go to one of them. You don't make up a lie that you have the flu and then go to the other one.
Right.
Especially
somebody posts on Facebook.
Yeah, especially today, social media is going to take your butt out. So you just got to be honest and be faithful to your friends.
Yeah. And the next one is my most important quality when I'm looking for a relationship, and that's loyalty. Be loyal. And I think that looks different for a lot of people, but be a friend that you can count on, or that someone can count on.
To me, loyalty is not just a friend. When loyalty is truly tested, let me say it this way: truly tested and revealed when you're not on your A game.
Yeah.
You're not on your A game. You're off. You're disconnected. Something is going on in your life, and the friends that are there then, that's a loyal friend.
Yeah.
I can remember a friend of mine that, got in trouble over and over and over. And every time I was there for him. And, what's really interesting is not that I didn't get in trouble in the relationship, but there was a time that I needed some grace, or I needed some understanding, and I just wrote off. I just got wrote off. It was just like, forget you. Yeah, it was no good. And I'm not talking about anybody. I'm talking about the word loyal.
Yeah.
Loyal means that instead of, go back to the benefit of the doubt. If one of your friends is really irate and goes on a rant and goes on a tear, and they just rip you up and they tear you out and chew you up and spit you out, so to speak, instead of assuming that they've been plotting this thing against you, maybe you take the benefit of the doubt and you remain loyal to the friendship and the relationship, and give them the benefit of the doubt and say, man, something must be wrong. You know?
But when I think of like friends in our lives that have been loyal, Brian and Jennifer Bullard, they're
not watching. You don't have to say this about them.
Oh, I would consider them loyal friends.
Absolutely.
And the Pucketts,
Yeah, Chris and Carrie Puckett are loyal friends, and I don't think you write down tonight a list of people that you would consider loyal friends. I think you just
list some qualities.
Some qualities that you would expect out of people, and what do you look for in somebody. And I'll tell you this, man, if somebody's a yes all the time for you, they're just a yes, that's great. Yes, that looks good on you. Yes, that's awesome. I'm proud of you. That's awesome. Good. That's probably not a loyal friend or an honest friend. Yeah. Sometimes the most loyal friends say the most difficult things to you.
You remember that the next time I tell you that something don't look good or something don't sound good.
I'll be glad to.
I told Jeff on the way home from South Carolina this weekend that I saved Revolt Church from, how did I say it?
She says she saves Revolt Church from some of the worst ideas ever, because she talks me out of them. And sometimes she's just being a naysayer, and I do them anyway, and they're awesome ideas. And her pride won't let her say, that's a really good idea. Sorry, I tried to talk you out of it. But yeah, I think you got to be loyal. That is being loyal. Being loyal is saying no. Yeah, you look like a loser. Yeah. Don't do that.
But then the next one, I guess, is going against what we're saying.
No, it's not going against it. But here's the next one. The next one is encourage, which is this. There's a life. I learned this at a big church. I was at a real big church that ran out parking lots. They ran out parking spaces. So it's really difficult. There's a life-giving way to say you can't park there. There's a life-giving way to say that outfit doesn't look nice on you. There's a life-giving way to say that idea stinks. And it's by encouraging a new idea, a better idea, an adjustment to the outfit, something to it. The outfit doesn't look good on you is heard this way. You're ugly. But see, you can be loyal to somebody and say, I don't want you to wear that because that outfit looks really bad on you. You're beautiful if you're a girl.
Yeah.
You know, now guys, you shouldn't even be asking each other about outfits, but
like Lynn Myers one time, I was pregnant with Brayden and nobody really knew it at the time. And she was being a good friend and she said, all right, Beth, we got to start walking. You putting on some weight.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's loyalty.
Yeah, she's very loyal.
Loyal is saying, yo, you look like a fool with that green stuff in your teeth.
Get it out.
And encouraging is, here's a toothpick, get it out. That's encouraging.
Right.
I think that's really good. You got to encourage.
Yeah. The next one's a good one too. Be happy for other people's blessings.
Oh, yeah. None of us like that. You know why? Because we're naturally, since Adam and Eve bit the apple. Yes, we're selfish, but we're envious.
Yeah.
We want to compare. I've said this before on the platform. We want to compare our worst to somebody's best. Or let me say it this way. We want to compare our closet to somebody else's showroom.
Right.
You know, it's like if you're an auto mechanic business, one of my friends owns a mechanic shop now, you would like compare your grease pit to the showroom of somebody else's, and be happy for their blessing. That's really hard to do because you think you deserve that, and I'm guilty of being that guy before. And
you know, the time that I can think of, like probably the best example for this is like when someone can't get pregnant, and then everybody around them is pregnant. Like with my brother, when he was him and his wife were trying to get pregnant, like I had to call them 4 times and say, or 3 times and say, I'm pregnant, but he was always excited for me. So, you know, be excited and be happy for you know, even if God, you don't feel like God's blessing you, but you know what? I thought about this past weekend. You cannot truly enjoy God's blessing on your life when you are focused on God's blessing on other people's lives. When you're looking at that and you're thinking, what God is doing in their life is so much bigger than what He's doing in my life.
Yeah.
You can't even enjoy what He's doing in your life when you're focused on.
I agree with that, and I think that let me just give you something practical that I want you to try to do. If you have a Debbie Downer, Nancy negative Nancy in your life, somebody that's just down, I want you to try this week, tomorrow morning, maybe they're in your workplace, or tonight. I want you to ask yourself, what can I celebrate with them? Like, how could I call somebody and say, dude, you got that new car and I'm so proud of you, or you got the new promotion, or you're getting engaged and I'm so sorry that I haven't even celebrated that. You're pregnant and I just kind of blew it off, or whatever it is. You got a raise, whatever. You got married, you haven't, whatever. You know, you can find something. Look hard to celebrate. Like, what would you say for me, Beth? How would you celebrate for me? You know, what would you do? Let's just do it right now. This is impromptu.
I'm excited that you've learned how to do this thing that you made for the billboard.
Okay. So, okay, good. So you're happy for that's a blessing to me. Like, I've learned how to do something. I've been playing around with some Photoshop. That's really cool.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll share this with you. Tonight, Revive Church served at Urban Ministries, and I'll tell you what was a blessing for me was to watch Julie. So you know Julie, how she was just a blessing to other people. Like, I mean, she just has a heart for other people like I've never seen before.
Yeah.
And the way that she was being blessed by those people and being a blessing to those people was a blessing to me, just to watch her be able to do use her gifts the way that God designed her.
Yeah.
To use.
And that's I can be happy for that. You know, I'm very happy. I didn't get to go. I don't ever get to go to Urban Ministries because I stay home with the children. And, you know, I grew up in church where if somebody made a big difference in the community from a church, the pastor was going to be there to get the glory and to make sure if the camera crew showed up, you know, and I get there's protocol for certain things. I understand that. But like, I'm happy that the Urban Ministries had 17 people serving tonight. I'm happy that we have new small groups, and a small group of people met tonight, and other small groups of people have met through the week. I want to be at some of their groups. I want to be in some of their groups, but I'm happy for them. When they tell me that, I'm blown away, and I'm very excited about it. Be happy for other people's blessings. I think you get the point. And I don't want to kick the dead horse, but I dare you to call somebody today or tomorrow and just celebrate with them.
Yeah. Keep your friends' secrets.
You know, well, somebody told me not to tell y'all about this. Like, can I tell you this? If you ever have a friend tell you that, I would suggest, I know it's hard because now you want to know, but say, you know, it's not worth it. I'd rather not know. And maybe an easier way for you to do that is if they'll tell you their other friend's business, then they'll tell their other friend your business. So I think if you know, the sooner you put it on the carpet, the sooner they'll stop telling somebody else's business to you, and that might just be your business one day.
Yeah,
I think, and I know it sounds really not life-giving, but keep secrets or don't have any. You know, that's one of the best ways to do is not have any secrets. But
true. And believe the best in people.
Absolutely. Everybody's a 10 in something. I'm studying spiritual gifts this week, and I've really been reading in the Hebrew and in the Greek this week, in the Old Testament about what a prophet was, and then the New Testament about what a prophet is. And I mean, a prophet believes the best in people. It really does.
Yeah. And, you know, I think that Christians in general, we kind of have given ourselves a bad name because of how we don't believe the best in people. And we're always against each other, that it makes us really a lot of times look like a bunch of fools. And you know, I think the outside secular world is thinking, I don't want to be a part of that group because they don't even like each other. They're fighting in churches, and you know, it's just a bunch of drama. And you know, I say believe the best in people, and you know, do these things that the examples that I've given you, so that you know, we can build up the kingdom and not tear it down.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I wrote the scripture down, and I wasn't real sure why I wrote it down until I went back and read it, but now I know. So it's Galatians 6:10, and it says, "Therefore, as we have opportunity, let us do good to all people, especially to those who belong to the family of believers." Do good to the family of believers. Do good to all people, but especially to those that belong to Jesus. And then I'm going to leave you with this final thought. I don't know, Jeff, I'm sure I'll have something else to add, but ask Jesus what you could do for him. We're real good at telling Jesus what we need and telling him areas that he could do a work in. But I think ask him what you can do for him, and be ready when he puts somebody in your path that may need you. Be ready to respond to that. A lot of times we ask him, but we're not ready. This past week, I think like Monday, I was watching with my children Sophia the First. If you have children, especially girls, then you know what Sophia the First is. But basically the episode was Sophia the First was going through her training on how princesses should act. And there was a group of the princesses, and they were going to the school, and they were going to take the test, and they were trying to teach Sophia how to wave the fan and how to do a bow and how her dress should look and things that she should say and all the kingdoms. And then there was a little old lady that dropped her books along the way, and she had asked all the other princesses to stop and help her pick the books up. And they all said, "No, we've got to go take our test." So nobody would stop and help her, but Sophia the First stopped to help her, and that was what the test was. It wasn't about how well your dress looked and how good your hair was fixed and how the fan. But I thought that was a neat little message in there. But it was about, did you stop to help? And I think we're tested on that daily. Did you serve my people? But I just thought that was a cute little message to send.
Yeah, and I think that when you ask Jesus, what can I do for you, Jesus, I'm almost 99% certain that every time, most of us, the answer is going to come of serving. There are times where God calls you to do specific things and specific projects. When we started this church, what I could do for Jesus was raise money, was find locations, was prepare to invite people, prepare messages. And now even in my job, what I'm doing is preparing messages sometimes. But everything that we do will always, at some point, if it's from God, for the kingdom of God, will involve other people. Somehow it will involve them and impact them in some way. So every single time. I want to leave you with this final thought. I've shared this before. I'm not real sure where. But I was talking with a doctor a few weeks ago, actually a couple of months ago, about a study he was a part of when he used to be at Duke University in the research department. Excuse me. There's this part of our brain that is we're wired this way, the way God put us together. It's this thing, and I don't remember the name of it and the word of it, but there's this thing that's released in our brain when we take heroin or methamphetamines or really highly addictive drugs. But research has shown that chemical already exists in our body, and when we take those highly addictive drugs, it releases those chemicals in our body by placing those chemicals, drug chemicals, illegal chemicals in our body. It releases these chemicals that addict us and kill us. And they did a study with rats, and they found this neuron or electron or whatever you call it. I don't know what it is. It's a place in the brain that releases this chemical. And they found this out about people and monkeys and even other animals, that when we do things for other people, and I want to call this pure servanthood. This is when you do something for someone and there's no return in it for you. That's pure. When we do that, they found out that there's a chemical, that same chemical that's released when we take heroin. And they did this with rats. They taught all these rats, and I thought this was just fascinating to me, that every time they would come and hit this little lever, it would release this chemical in their brain. So every time the rat would hit the lever, it would release chemical in the brain. And did you know that rats starved themselves to death? They never ate again. They would just stay there. They would hit the lever, wait for the high to go away, hit the lever. And it wasn't a drug. It was a lever, and they were just wiring their brain to release this chemical that God has intricately placed in all of creation, this desire to do for others. And I think that if we'll do that for our relationships, we'll do that. We'll see a big change. We'll see something really, really cool. So hope this has been helpful to you tonight, or morning, whatever time you're watching it. If you could just do a couple of things with us, for us. If you could share this on Facebook and Twitter this week, next week, you can come back to our YouTube. You can go to my page on Facebook, Beth's page on Facebook. You'll see the links there. People can watch this later. Look for it on Facebook. Invite people to join us on Google+. And so we can get more and more people involved. We want to get this word out. We really believe this is an easy way, especially for parents that have children, or for those that are unable to get out, or
now, will we ever do any interaction?
Uncomfortable. We are planning on bringing some other people in.
Okay.
I may have my pastor come in, Pastor Dean or Pastor Chris jump in online, and we talk about some things. But next week's going to be really exciting. You don't want to miss this Sunday. This Sunday at church is going to be just amazing. A great, great session. Next Wednesday night for the Google+, How to Live a Life-Giving Life, we're going to be talking about setting healthy boundaries.
Just favorite topic.
It is. Healthy boundaries is one of my favorite topics. Why do you say it like that?
Because it is.
You should, when it adds some value to our relationships. Healthy boundaries are just amazing.
He tells me that all the time.
You have to have healthy boundaries. I totally agree. Matter of fact, I'm going to show you a really cool video next Wednesday night of something we captured on our way home from South Carolina, and I think you're gonna like it. But anyway, God bless you. Thank you for joining us. I hope it's been encouraging to you. I didn't see any questions or answers pop up in the Google+. If you're watching on YouTube, you won't be able to submit questions, but you have to watch it on the Google+. So we invite you to come back next week, share this information. Watch it again if you need to. Go encourage somebody tonight, tomorrow, today, right now, wherever you are. Go add value to a relationship that you're part of. Ask Jesus like this. And what would you have me do, Jesus? And do it. Follow through. God bless you. We'll see you guys all.
You'll see us next Wednesday. We won't see you guys.
That's right. You'll see us next Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Good night.